Good afternoon. This is Dr. Bones for another new edition of Bloggers Corner. So without further ado,
and now it's time for another episode of Bloggers Corner with Britt.
Welcome our local blogger Britt. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So first off, there's just a couple things I want to get to right off the hop. It's because I briefly told you about this the other day. And it's just one of those things that we'll say enough is enough. I mean, like, obviously the media is always going to be going, and there's always going to be some sort of a scandal or what have you. But the other day, it's getting out of hand now. I mean, with Miley Cyrus apparently lighting a joint on the European MTV Music Awards, and that was unbelievable, but at the same time too is I very, very much doubt it actually was. Just the whole thing and scenario, I think it was just another gimmick to make headlines. But, you know, enough's enough. Give it up already.
Yeah, I have to agree.
And I saw that as like, really? Again? I was like, oh, come on. And then going from there, obviously all these talk shows are talking about it, and I kind of overheard one. And they're saying, well, this is exactly what she wants us to do, and is to talk about it. And I'm thinking, well, if that's the case, then why are you still talking about it? So it's one of those things, no? If you're really not into something, you're not going to talk about it. But if you do, even though you say you're not, subconsciously, you're going to yap about it. And I was like, just none of those things. Like, just give it a rest. Just pretty much, the more you can ignore, the more she'll go away. And same...
definitely.
Yeah, and the same thing, and Justin Bieber and this hooker's like, oh my god, like, come on, like, enough already. No, so what? He's a teen, and, well, not a teen anymore, like, 18 technically speaking, he's adult, but he's a spaz, and he's gonna get himself into trouble. I mean, this was to be expected at some point or other. Well, maybe not most, but quite a few young stars, they fall into that, and they're kind of, we'll say, pure pressured into it. So, I mean, at this point in time, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think we talked about this a while ago, and I said, it was the first one to say that this kid's going to end up in a ditch at some day, strung out. So, and at this point, he's getting pretty close.
Yeah, it's sad in one way that he's, disintegrating at such a rapid rate, but at the same time, that's what happens to these kids when they get so much so quickly, and no one's there to, balance out anything in terms of who they're not accountable to anybody anymore, and so things just really start going off the rails.
Oh, that's right. And like I said, I mean, this stuff, at this point, I'm just sick of hearing it. But the thing that really stuck out, which really, really got me, and it really made me laugh, and kind of saying, wait, what? Wait a minute here. So what the person was saying is, Miley Cyrus supposedly smoked the joint on stage at the European Music Awards, but then this person says, well, why don't they call out Robin Thicke? And Snoop Dogg is like, Snoop Dogg openly admits it. He's been arrested for possession a number of times. So how can you even compare the two? One gets caught, one openly admits it, and has never denied it ever.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. I totally agree. I've never heard Snoop Dogg claim that he was, rolling sober, so it's just an absolute lame example.
That's exactly it, and that's what got me. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Out of all people you could have picked, you picked Snoop Dogg. It's like... And then, of course, we all know about the Robin Thicke and the coke and everything else. But I mean, obviously, all Robin Thicke's camp kind of denied the whole thing. But Snoop Dogg is like, really? I mean, how long have you been around? I mean, he's been around for about almost 20 years now, and he's freely admitted it. So if you're trying to deflect, you might as well call someone else out because you picked the wrong person to call out on that.
I absolutely agree. I think it's showing their team's just desperation to try to deflect.
Oh, that's right. So that's my little rant about the about the social media this week. So as far as that's concerned, I'm done. I don't have anything more. I just thought it was funny and slightly annoying. We'll put it that way. But since I did catch up, let's get back into it. Let's talk about this week's Arrows episode, because that was really good, and I'm just liking that they're keeping going back, and they're essentially showing Sarah as the Black Canary, but Sarah as a traitor the entire time, because when they flash back to the jail scene, she turned him in then, and who's to say she's not going to turn him in soon again?
Yeah, I agree. I'm really surprised that he has acted like he owes her something, and I keep seeing in the flashbacks it being reinforced that he actually owes her nothing, and she still acts like she's got a chip on her shoulder, that he somehow owes her for betraying her, and it seems like it's actually vice versa.
Oh, that's exactly it. I mean, I think in some cases, it definitely was an interesting episode to see them go to Russia to find Deadshot, which was, for those of you who haven't seen too much of Arrow, Deadshot killed Diggle's brother. And he'd been after him, and then pretty much a friend of his went after her and was found missing, so they went to Russia to find her. So it was interesting because, it gave you more of a chance to see Diggle and his true colors, meaning what he can actually do and what kind of training they characterize him with and what he actually did. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the episode. I thought they kept a lot of pot stirring and a lot of plot development, and it was neat. I think something that the episode kind of brought up was about Deadshot, and he did kill Diggle's brother, but getting the conspiracy of who was actually behind him, because he was just a trigger man, it would seem, and so trying to get to who actually ordered that will be an interesting mystery that should carry through the season.
Absolutely, and I think it was a good bit of a twist when Diggle finally confronted him at the very end, and he said, he says, "I don't miss." Goes, "Your brother was the target." So that kind of proves that he didn't just randomly get hit; he was a target for some reason. Now the hunt is on, and then now they're finally kind of bringing up, we'll call it a little bit of a love triangle, and now there's a fourth involved. So we went from Laurel, Felicity, and Sarah, and now the partner's involved now too.
Yeah, he's got women, he's got honeys everywhere. It's really interesting. And last season he was having all this angst about not being with anybody, and now he has more than a few ladies to choose from. I felt so bad for Felicity when she came to the door and realized that he'd hooked up with his business partner. I was just like, oh, girl, I feel ya.
That's absolutely right. I mean, they couldn't have I guess planned that episode any better, because obviously, who's the crowd going to be rooting for? They're going to be rooting for Felicity. No, Sarah.
Exactly.
Sarah's a rogue. No, Laurel's a mess. the partner is kind of iffy, but Felicity's kind of the straight shooter there.
Yeah, I agree. She's definitely trying to make him see, because he keeps getting blinded by, with Laurel, her being a hot mess express, and his partner, she's the exact opposite. She's so unemotional and so detached from everything going on around her, and Felicity offers a happy medium.
Couldn't agree more. So if you guys missed the episode, it's definitely one worth watching. It was really good, and I feel bad about this one, but we're going to talk about the Tomorrow People again. But Britt, again, this is going to be on you because I just haven't had a chance to catch up on it yet.
Okay, well, this was a really good episode. The show continues to steadily improve. This week focused on the backstory of Aaron Yu's character, and he's kind of I don't want to say computer guy, because we don't really know what his skill is, but this week we got a little bit of insight into his backstory. His father passed away, and so the question was if the head of the Tomorrow People was going to let him go topside. That's what they call it when you go into the real world, to see his father's funeral. And so he gets a little bit of insight into how he learned about his powers, and there's kind of a Shine storyline, but movie with Jeffrey Rush. There's kind of sentiments of that in the episode. And then Steven and Kara, who is the head Tomorrow People girl, their relationship starts to develop, And there's a turn at the end of the episode, which I won't give away, but it was very frustrating because it kind of came out of nowhere. And it really, because Steven had been such a good guy and Cara had been such a good girl, that what they do at the end of the episode really takes a hit for their whole morality factor that had really anchored the show.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, because I'm almost caught up. I know there's not too many episodes, but that's one I've been like trying to get to, but I've had so many other things going on, and it's one I want to get to and kind of catch up. So next week I will be all caught up, so I'll be able to put my 2 cents in on that one. Now,
I look forward to hearing what you think.
My question to you, and it's not about this show, but have you caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet?
No, I have not. Unfortunately, I'm like with the Tomorrow People. I have not gotten a chance to catch up with that.
All right, well, fair enough, no problem. I mean, like one for one, right? So, this most recent episode goes a bit more in depth, meaning that they kind of develop the characters a lot more and really kind of show what they're made of, and it's becoming a lot more interesting because they had to deal with a certain virus, and it actually had to do with the aliens from the Avengers movie.
Oh.
So they connected the two, so I'm not going to give too much of that away because you'll have to watch it, but pretty much short and skinny is with the helmet they saved as a souvenir of one of the aliens, it started spreading a disease and they had to find the cure for it.
Oh, very interesting. Now, I do have an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. question, as kind of from what I'd seen, which is, have they delved any further into how Agent Coulson came back to life? Because they kind of hinted at some things in the first episode, but have they gotten any deeper into how they've explained that he was alive after he died in the Avengers movie?
Not yet. All they've really said or what he said is, he goes, I'm alive and I'm pretty sure I was dead for at least 10 minutes, and that's really, they haven't gone any farther. I think they're kind of saving that and kind of slowly building that up.
Okay.
So,
do you think he's a clone?
You know what? It's hard to say. I don't think so. It's one of those things I almost want to watch the movie again to kind of compare the two characters. So, it's possible, but they're not treating him like one. We'll put it that way.
Oh, okay.
So at least the main three, and I'm blanking on the characters' names, and I feel real bad about this, but the characters that you think that might know don't seem to know too much about it at all. But the nice thing about this one is they finally touched on the scientist duo, and again I'm blanking on the names, but now they're starting. They showed how not show how, but they kind of developed showing that they have a little bit more of a connection. So that's probably something they're going to be working on in future episodes as well.
Okay, that sounds very promising.
So it was, all in all, it was a very good episode, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So
it sounds good. One show I did check out that you'd mentioned last week was that show Witches of East End.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I watched two. I think I saw 2 episodes of that this week, so I'm up to the 3rd episode that's aired, and I'm really enjoying that. I think it's a pretty good show. Okay,
so the most recent one this past Sunday. Have you seen that one yet?
I have not, but feel free to talk about it. I don't mind.
Well, short and skinny, this one is things are starting to make a little more sense. They're kind of diving into the past a little bit. Now, Freya's sister, and I don't remember Freya's sister's name, but Ingrid, thank you. So Ingrid, because of recent happenings, she wanted to kind of dive into her past, so she made some sort of brownies, and pretty much she felt and relived one of her past lives. And now it's starting to make sense, because if you remember, do you remember when she was at her fiance's house, and she brought the wedding dress? Oh, well, not Ingrid, but Freya brought the wedding dress home, and she burned it.
Yes.
Okay, well that's explained a little bit more, and why that certain dress is cursed. If you want me to tell you, I will, but if not, I'll leave that to you to watch.